Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse, DC Direct, Page Puncher, Superman for the Black Adam Wave, and this is the black and white accent edition. This is exclusive to Big Bad Toy Store, so let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see at the top, it's part of the Gold Label collection. Gold Label simply means it's an exclusive. This particular one is exclusive to Big Bad Toy Store. DC, Superman from the Black Adam Wave, black and white accent edition. It's going to have red accents on it. McFarlane Toys, Big Bad Toy Store 2023 exclusive, limited to 3,000 pieces. Superman's 85th anniversary. At the top says DC. One side, Superman from the Black Adam Wave. The other side is blank. The back side, here's Superman, some red accents. At the bottom, got a bunch of credits, and there's this barcode, in case that happens to help anybody. It's got this sort of sleeve cover with packaging, and the inside presentation is fantastic. So with no further ado, let's open him up. Alright, now that this figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out. Comes with some kind of unique stuff. 2 alternate hands, totally 4 interchangeable hands. Then he has a display stand, totally unique. First time they've made a display stand quite like this in this line. Then we also have the collector's card, and a holder or stand for the collector's card. So some cool, unique pieces, but not very useful in the overall action figure world. The figure itself, it looks good. Visually, very pleasing. The red really pops on him. The black and white with the red accents. Yeah, it works for a nice display piece, but it's totally pointless as far as your action figure world goes. So this is really for the collectors. They like to just have the figures on the shelf, looking nice. And this figure definitely does that job. So let's take a look. Starting with his face here. This is that Page Puncher Superman. A little bit more of a younger, modern look. The eyes kind of lit up a little bit, like he's about to start using his laser vision. Hair kind of unkept, short. Skin very pale, like a zombie, but it's a black and white figure. If it weren't for the red accents, and they really pop, the dull black and white colors. Giant oversized fists on the figure. That was a problem with the original, and everything's exactly the same. Cape, flowing, double jointed knees, double jointed elbows. Overall, it's a solid release, and it really visually pops like this. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. It's a good head sculpt, but I don't know, a little bit too lean, a little bit too quote-unquote modern for Superman for my take. I like the classic curl, Clark Kent, square jaw, etc. It is a good sculpt though. Now I keep saying this figure pops and is visually pleasing, and I would say that statement is accurate. They achieved their goal, was to make the figure look nice, look unique, sort of pop out at you. But the majority of collectors just want to have action figures interact with each other or take photos, etc. This guy will not be that useful for that purpose. He's just a cool thing to have. And here's the figure broken down as far as it can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's check out his accessories, and let's start off with at least what I consider to be the boring stuff. Here's his display stand. They typically come with a small, circular, boring display stand. This one has a classic Superman comic logo. One peg with the pegals on his feet. It's a rectangle shape. It is kind of hollow, but a lot fancier than what they normally come with. Then we have his collector's card. It has its own display stand. Here's the card itself. Superman, eyes lit up, kind of similar to the figure. Black and white, red accent. Superman, black and white accent edition. Backside, little certificate of authenticity. Figure 1909 of 3000. And it's kind of cool. Here's the collector's card in the display stand. Pretty cool little feature there. Actually, it looks nice. Could look nice next to the figure. Now, personally, I don't care about the display stand. I don't care about the collector's card. And honestly, I don't really care about this figure that much. I get him because I'm a completist. I want to get all the McFarlane DC stuff. It's just what I do. But he's not going to be useful in my overall action figure collection. He does look good. I'm not repeating myself, but that's my opinion on figures like this. Of course, when they release something and they say it's limited to 3,000, collectors and scalpers alike are just going to grab them all up because it's going to have big resale value in the future. There are some people like me that are completists, big Superman fans out there, people want to flip it, etc., etc. Whenever you limit them to 3,000 and advertise that, it's guaranteed to sell pretty quickly. Now let's look at his hands. He has a total of 4 of them, 2 left hands and 2 right hands. Here he is with his first pair of hands. These are his fists, and they are really oversized on this figure. I believe on the original release, they simply reused the same hands from the infected Superman, and it's on a slightly slimmer buck, so it kind of makes sense they're oversized. Does look quite awkward in this pose. And here he is with his other pair of hands. These are some flight hands. In my opinion, every single Superman figure should come with a pair of fists and a pair of flight hands. That's just the way it should be. A lot of figures don't come with those, but good job on this one. Put him in his traditional sort of iconic flight pose, and the figure's articulate enough they can actually make it look pretty damn good. Now I wanted to check out the differences between this new black and white accent version and the original version. Besides the obvious paint differences, there are absolutely no sculpting differences. Let's take a little look. So if you want to know what the original one looked like, here you go. Like I said, it seems like a much younger version of Clark. I don't know. I could almost see this being like a John Kent Superman, but that's not what it's supposed to be. It's based off an original comic that I believe the McFarlane team designed, a Black Adam issue, #1. Still, the face is considerably different. I like the eyes on this guy, it's pretty cool. The red, a lot different. It's a lot darker, sort of duller on this figure. Of course, we have yellow, there's gray. Still, pretty cool to have. Pretty cool to have them both. Neither one is my exact version of Superman. Now they've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories. Now let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, standing right at 7 inches tall, which can translate to just under 18 centimeters. And now for his articulation. Start with his head here. Of course, it can rotate from side to side, like up and down a very good amount, which gets him into that really good flight pose. Can tilt his head from one side to the other. Shoulders, ball joint, goes out more than 90 degrees, up, down, around, all that good stuff. Butterfly joint between his shoulder and chest area, increasing the range of motion and covering that large gap. Bicep cut here. Double jointed elbows. His wrists can rotate, and it's going to be hinged as well. Torso, he's got a ball joint, rotate around, forward and back. Another one is waist, rotate around, forward and back. Between the two, very good range of motion in his torso area. A little more out of the waist than the torso. Legs, complete splits, not a ball joint, McFarlane style hip joints. Rotations, minimal. They go forward about that far, back, not much. Double jointed knees, and then his ankle, forward and back, rotate, tilt, rock, and of course, to articulation. Here's a look at both the black and white accent and the original version of the Black Adam Page Puncher Superman, posed up in front of this metropolis city. Now let's check them out next to some of their action figures, starting off with some of their McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is, next to the regular version of the Page Puncher Superman. Now let's check him out next to some other weird, repainted, non-traditional Superman figures. Here he is, next to the unpainted, artist-proof Platinum Chase variant of the Rebirth Superman. Then, next to the patina repaint of the Unchained, Armored Superman. Now let's check him out next to some other McFarlane Superman figures. Here he is, next to the Action Comics #1000 Superman, which is still my favorite Superman they've made. Maybe the upcoming Hush Superman will be better. Time will tell. And here he is, next to the Rebirth Superman, then next to the Dark Knight Returns comic Superman, and now with an animated Superman figure, and here with the DC Cinematic Universe Henry Cavill Superman. Here are absolutely all of the Superman figures McFarlane has made so far. Quite a few. Next couple on the horizon, we have the Hush Superman with a regular face, and then there's going to be a first appearance Action Comics Superman. Now let's check him out. Next to some other members of the Super family, we have a couple different versions of Supergirl, but they're both Kara, and then a couple different versions of Superboy. One is John Kent, one is Con-El. And here he is, next to some Superman villains, Bizarro, Superboy Prime, Lex Luthor, Mongol, General Zod, Eradicator, and Ultraman. And Devastator and Lobo are kinda like Superman villains. Devastator is a hybrid between Batman and Doomsday, and Lobo made his debut as sort of an antagonist in the Superman comics. Here's this black and white red accent Superman next to black and white yellow accent Flash. These are both Big Bad Toy Store exclusives, limited to 3,000 pieces. Both pretty cool display pieces, but not very useful in overall action figure world building. Then, next to the McFarlane Spawn black and white version with green accents. I will tell you, all three of these figures sold out. You advertise something limited, collectors and scalpers are just going to buy it all up. So, this might be a new thing moving forward. Big Bad Toy Store exclusives, black and white versions, Entertainment Earth, blacklight versions, blah 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 blah. I mean, I like the variants. These guys look good, but they don't really bring me a lot of joy. Yes, they look awesome and I'm happy to check them off my list, but I'm not going to be using these guys to pose in different action scenes in my action figure world. Here's this Superman next to the rest of the Page Puncher Black Adam wave. Almost all the figures have a variant at this point, except for John Constantine, and he's the one I would want a variant of the most. I would say he's the star of the wave. Black Adam and Batman got weird sort of black and white variants. A lot different than this black and white red accent version. Now let's check them out. Next to some other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here are the two most recent releases. The two black and white accent Big Bad Toy Store exclusives. And here he is, next to the Page Punchers fighting the Frozen Wave. And apparently there's a Platinum Chase Batgirl that I'm going to have to work hard tracking 2 down. Then, next to the McFarlane Toy Store exclusive Dick Grayson Robin, patina variant of the Unchained Armored Superman, and the Kyle Rayner Blue Lantern. And now, next to the entire wave of Flash figures, here's Superman, next to some recent Target exclusive gold label figures. We've got the Flashpoint Aquaman and Project Superman, the Jokerized Future State Batman, Impulse, and Deadman. And here he is, next to some recent Walmart exclusive gold label figures, Vampire Joker, Vampire Batman, Eradicator, and Beast Boy. Then, next to the Titans wave, Collective Build Beast Boy. And now, next to Shazam and Wonder Woman from Shazam Fury of the Gods. Here's Superman, next to the Arkham City Riddler and the Arkham Knight Earth 2 Batman skin. And here he is, next to the two most recent McFarlane Mega figures, Calabac and Fulcrum Abominus. Then, with the fourth wave of Page Punchers, this is an Aquaman themed wave. Aquaman, Aqualad, Black Manta, and Ocean Master. And now, with the Dark Knight Trilogy wave, Collective Build Bane from the Dark Knight Rises. Here's Superman, next to the Dark Knight's Metal Gladiator Batman and the Kingdom Come Armored Batman. And here he is, next to the Con-El Superboy, Duke Thomas the Signal, and both versions of the Jake Garrick Flash. Then, next to most recent Batman wave, we have the Hush Batman, both versions of the Nightfall Catwoman, both versions of the Rebirth Mr. Freeze, and the Infinite Frontier Joker. And finally, next to both the Amazon exclusive Tim Drake Robin and the Amazon exclusive Batman Family 5-pack. Now let's check them out, next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how he fits in, both scale and style-wise, in case you'll know which lines you can mix them with. Since he's a McFarlane toy, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the large action figure lines I collect, and work my way smaller. But first, let's check them out with some of the McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale, and I'm going to include as many Superman figures as I can during these comparisons. Then, with some more McFarlane Toys, these are from different various video game properties. And now, with some Jack-specific wrestling figures, here's Superman, next to an Apple. And here he is, next to some DST, War Diamond Select toys. Then, with some DC Direct and DC Collectibles Superman figures. And here he is, standing with some NECA figures. Then, with some Mattel wrestling figures. And now, with some Jazzwares AEW wrestlers. And here he is, next to some Mezco 112 collective figures. Then, with some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse Superman figures. And here he is, with some Mafex Superman figures. Then, with some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here he is, next to some SH Figure Arts action figures. And finally, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, the figure does what it sets out to achieve, and that is looks good. The color scheme's unique, black and white with red accent. But I know I'm repeating myself, it's just not very useful for action figure photography or for the overall collection. I mean, that's what it is. It's part of a collection, not an actual figure to interact with the other ones. That being said, The figure itself is based off the Black Adam Page Puncher, which is a very nice figure. Maybe a little bit leaner than I'd like. Hands a little too big. Head looking a little too young. But it is a good solid base figure. And the paint variation, it's good. The red pops. Figure looks good on the shelf. Kind of surprised Big Bad Toy Store didn't go with the safer route and ask for a black and white accent Batman. I'm sure we'll get those in the future. This figure looks good, it's cool, but I don't really want this to be an ongoing thing, a ton of these variations, because I'll get them all and I don't really need them. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say with the video, head to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.